Well, it's a big show. Oh, it's a big bad show tonight.
Yeah, it's the big show. It's called Ralph's Opinion. And yeah, we're usually on at 3 p.m., but I'm experimenting with something tonight because I want to see how many more viewers we can get by having this show on in the evening time. And I think you understand my logic because I know 3 o'clock in the afternoon can be a little tough to try to watch a program. So what we're going to do is we're going to experiment here, and we're going to start having Ralph's Opinion on at 7 o'clock p.m. I'm going to get my graphics person to put my graphics together for me, and there'll be some new things going on here. But also, don't forget, coming up immediately following Ralph's Opinion is Ralph's Opinion Local. I got to tell you, we have a great show for you tonight for Ralph's Opinion Local. Allegheny County Executive Sarah Amarato is raising property taxes, and wait till you see what I have to tell you. We're going to play tidbits of her conversation or her submitting the budget to county council. Wait till you hear this or see this, because you're not going to like it if you're a property owner. I don't own a house, but if you do, I feel bad for you. I really do. Ralph's Opinion tonight, we're going to talk about dock workers accepting a contract till January. Harris Trump, hurricane relief for Helene, Hurricane Milton. Gaza hospitals getting ready to evacuate because they're suspecting another airstrike by Israel. And of course, a whole lot more. Hamas might as well just give up. I mean, I don't get this, but we'll talk more about that as we go along here. We're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You ought to call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Winter's coming. Get that furnace fixed and ready. Call Mata. They're the folks to do it. Ask for Bill. Tell Bill Ralph Williams sent you. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. All right, everybody. Tonight, let's get started here. Harris Trump. You know, it's down to the wire right now because there's less than a month away until we have an election coming up, November 5. Trump has been all over the place. He's been in Reading. He's been in Butler, PA. He's been in Wisconsin. He's been, you name it, Trump has been there. And Trump's a little behind the 8 ball, so he needs to catch up. Okay, and he's doing it. All right. I watched the Butler, PA rally. I am voting for Trump. I like what he had to say. I like what he has going on to move the country forward, which, some of us around here and some of us don't trust. A lot of people don't trust Donald Trump. But I don't trust Kamala Harris. I mean, I've made it known here on this program many times that I cannot trust Kamala Harris. And don't sit there and say, Ralph, you think because she's a woman. That has nothing to do with it. I voted for Hillary Clinton. Okay? Kamala Harris, the reason she can't be trusted is because I've said this many times, is because of her affiliate or her association with Joe Biden. How can I trust if she's not going to do the same things Joe Biden does? And let me say this, and I've said this 1,000 times moreover on this program, okay, and when I had The Way I See It before it went to become The Way We See It with me and Bill Canada, okay, I said it many times. Everything that Donald Trump has said has happened, all right? And he says if you vote for Kamala Harris, which I believe is to be the case, and she wins this election, we could have World War III, okay? We can't handle what's going on right now. What makes you think we can handle World War III? And if there is a World War III, we have to contend with Iran, North Korea, China, and Russia. Okay? All right? And some of our allies who are frustrated, with Trump from the last time are going to get frustrated again because he's going to get us out of NATO because, again, when he had us, when we're in NATO, we have to do all the work. We have to supply all the money. We have to supply all the supplies. Okay? NATO was supposed to help us with Ukraine, and we're forking the bill out for Ukraine. Okay? That's another reason why I'm not voting for Kamala Harris, because she kept approving and approving and approving, along with the votes to give the money to Ukraine. We have people in Florida right now, that are hurting because of Hurricane Helene, and now Hurricane Milton's coming, and we're worried about Ukraine. We've given so much money to Ukraine, it's pathetic. Okay? I have nothing against Ukraine, but I have a problem when we have a circumstance as this and we can't handle it because we don't have the money right now. FEMA's about to run out of money. And I got to say this too, Joe Biden is supposed to be talking tonight to the country. And he's authorizing, or he maybe has talked today. I was busy tied up with a bunch of stuff, which is the second reason why I moved it to this time. But I see right now that we're getting a lot of good views right now. So I'm planning on maybe starting next week, moving this to 7. It's going to stay here at 7 o'clock. Okay. All right. Ralph's Opinion Local, immediately following. And I got some other special announcements for everyone too. If you're not aware, I will be having those announcements coming up soon. But anyway, so Trump's going around. He's doing his thing. J.D. Vance was at this one. Dave McCormick was there. Lee Greenwood's been following him around, singing God Bless the USA. I think Donald Trump can win this election, okay, regardless of who the Democrats put up, because I think a lot of people, despite the fact that a lot of people don't like Trump, they don't like Kamala Harris anymore. And that's exactly where this country is right now. And here's the sad part about this, and I said this last week and a week before. Is this all? Is this it? Is this what we have? Why don't we have some younger people? Why don't we have some different candidates for this job? Okay? This is supposed to be the future of our country, and we got a middle-aged woman in her 50s, and we got a 78-year-old man who's running again for a third time to be the president of this country. He ran once and lost, ran once and lost, and now he's going to run again. He's running again. And Donald Trump. Okay? My question is, if Donald Trump is going to be reelected, does that mean he can't run again after these 4 years because he's already done 2 terms? Or is that an exception to the rule to where he backs up to where, he can do 2 more terms if he wants? All right? Unless something bad happens to him, I don't see that happening. All right? He promises, Donald Trump, he's not going to run in 2028 if he loses this election. He's not going to try to run. Okay? But is this all? Is this it? This country should be ashamed of themselves because they don't have anybody else other than this. All right? And Kamala Harris is another progressive Democrat, just like the rest of these progressives around here and everywhere else. Joe Biden was a progressive. What do you think Kamala Harris is? Okay? She's a progressive. So where in the world are we going in this country? And again, it's nothing against Trump. I'm voting for him because I think he can bring this economy back. I think he can get these lazy people working so our economy can grow and our businesses are not going under because they have to raise food costs and raise wages for everybody for the same. I got this to tell you. I interviewed about a year or 2 ago a guy on my old show called Ralph Williams One-on-One. And his name was Chef Brian Duffy. Brian Duffy's been on the Food Network, Bar Rescue, and he's a world-renowned chef. I had Brian on. Brian told me this. He shut his restaurants down because he's not paying cooks $25 an hour, and they're going to do an $8 an hour job worth of work. He said that the guys he hired made $8 an hour at another job, came to him because he was paying them $25 an hour, and they worked the same way they did, which was laziness and didn't want to clean and didn't want to do certain things for that same $25 an hour or $15 an hour. Okay. Then if you don't pay somebody that kind of money, they get angry. They go home and they cry and they get lazy and they get that. That's another reason I'm voting for Trump, because I think people will work for him. They didn't want to work for Biden because Biden was giving away everything in the store, just like he's giving away to Ukraine. And Kamala Harris is going to do the same thing. And now, I got something real hilarious for you. They're calling Tim Worrell here, or whatever his name is here. They're calling him Tampon Tim. I mean, this is where this has come with him, because he acts like it. Did you watch the vice presidential debate? I did. And I watched the Casey McCormick debate. And I'll talk about that on Ralph's Opinion Local. All right. Bob Casey, all he did was repeat the same thing over and over again. All right. It was a terrible debate on his end. But Harris Trump, it's down to the nitty gritty now. And they're going around everywhere across the country doing their thing. And now you got Barack Obama doing his surrogate work. Joe Biden, I guess, who knows what he's doing. Okay. But see, the one thing Kamala Harris did make the mistake Hillary Clinton made was she never showed up in Michigan at all. She sent her husband, she sent Barack Obama, she sent Joe Biden, she sent all these people to speak on her behalf. And Michigan said they would have voted for her if she would have showed up. And I get at the time she was sick. I get that, but she could have rescheduled things. And she didn't. And that's what blew it for her in Michigan. Okay. But Kamala Harris has been here and done that in Pittsburgh. She's been, everywhere and done that so far. But Trump has really been aggressive in Pennsylvania because he knows he can win Pennsylvania if he has the right strategy. He's planning on keeping fracking, which Kamala Harris says, I'm not going to ban fracking. You said at one time or another you were going to ban fracking. What makes you change your mind now? Because you're running for president. Now, all of a sudden, you don't want to ban fracking. How can we believe you when you tell two different stories, Kamala? How can I believe you? How can anybody in the American public, American voters, or anyone agree with you? Okay? You said, let's let transgender prisoners have, get sex changes on our dime. And now you're saying you're not going to do that again. Yeah. How about the immigration thing? I've been down to the wall. I took a look at what goes on down there. Biden tore down Trump's wall, and we wouldn't have these problems. Again, I don't have any issues with immigrants. As long as they're legal and they do their job and they don't cause problems, I have no issues with immigrants. I have a problem when they're illegal and they come in here and they rape old ladies and steal stuff from people and beat up on people and cause crime and drugs and make all kinds of problems. That's the ones I have problems with. And if you listen to Donald Trump, they released in Venezuela all their prisoners out of their prisons and sent them to the United States because of this current immigration situation here all across the United States. Sanctuary cities like New York have immigrants staying in the Roosevelt, which is one of the better hotels. In the meantime, I can't afford the Roosevelt. Why don't you let me stay at the Roosevelt? You understand what I'm saying? Joe Biden, why don't you give me money like you give Ukraine? This administration under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have screwed this stuff up so bad it's a cluster screw. All right? That's exactly what they've done. And that's the sad part of this whole situation here with this. All right? You have immigrants, despite the fact that he's talking about immigrants, you have minorities voting for Trump now. They don't trust Kamala Harris. I talked to voters here in Pittsburgh that are of the African American persuasion. And you know what they say? I'm voting for Trump. Why? Because they don't trust Kamala Harris. Have you noticed more African American people at Trump rallies because they don't trust Kamala Harris? If you can't trust Joe Biden, how can you trust Kamala Harris? Oh, well, she's in a separate administration. It's hers to run. but what makes you think that you can still trust her? All right, when we come back right after these words, we're going to talk some more. Ralph's opinion. I got dock workers that are not going to go on strike that agreed to a temporary contract, and a whole lot more right after these words.
Agent for you who has great customer service and will meet your insurance needs. Robin Campbell, Farmers Insurance and Bristol West Insurance. He will help you with auto, life, renters, fire, and more. Call Robin today at 412-366-3399. Tell Robin Ralph Williams sent you. Robin Campbell Insurance. Digital Data gives you on-demand access to a team of professional web designers and data-driven marketers for an affordable monthly flat rate. Discover your website's earning potential today. At Digital Data, our goal is to provide small businesses with the tools and services they need to be successful online by utilizing our team's deep knowledge and experience. Call now, 866-276-9504.
All right, it's time. It's time for me, Ralph Williams, to take a stand. And the stand I'm getting ready to take is November 9th. It starts on The Answer, 1250 AM, 92.5 FM here in Pittsburgh. It's called The Ralph Williams Show. And it starts November 9th, which is every Saturday after that from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay? The Ralph Williams Show. We will break up the local media perspective here in Pittsburgh with some great local talk show. And it's one of the newest. I'm going to be one of the newest talk shows in this town. Haven't you had enough of the same voices? Well, it's time for the new voice, the Ralph Williams Show, starting Saturday, November 9th, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 1250 a.m. and 92.5, The Answer. All right, everybody, we're back here. Ralph's Opinion, special time, 7 p.m. In fact, we're going to continue to do this here at 7 p.m., move it from 3 o'clock because of lack of viewership. Viewership has been down. 2 weeks ago, both shows were actually did quite well for themselves. And I'm also looking for some, I need some subscribers. Hello, RxJ. How are you today? It's great to have you here tonight on the show. I'll catch with you later at 9 o'clock. As you know, 9 o'clock every Wednesday night, I am on the NFL Roundtable on the kneecap biting with Jeremy Ballrick. I'm on the NFL Roundtable, and that's every Wednesday night. And that'll be tonight as well, as usual. I will not be on later on at 10:30 tonight with Peter Blake due to the hurricane. And I wish, and I'm saying prayers for all my media friends down there in Florida: Harry the Greek, Peter Blake, Ray Kennedy, Leo Haggerty, J.P. Peterson, Scott Morganroth, and also Candy Ebling. Okay, and also my co-host on Monday night, Bill Canada. His kids live down there, so please live in Florida. So please say some prayers for these folks, as you know. The Hurricane Milton now is coming through, and it's going to be worse than Helene. All right, we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 724-2010-500. Call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning today. This next segment is brought to you in part by DJ Fun. DJ Fun is a party DJ here in the Western Pennsylvania area. Call DJ Fun today, 412-545-4317. 15 years of parties and special events. Call DJ Fun today. That number again, 412-545-4317. Oh, excuse me. Wow. All right, folks. Let's get started here. Dock workers agreed to a temporary contract agreement that'll go until January because it's going to affect Christmas. Thank you. I appreciate that, RxJ. Thank you very much for that. All right, if you want to comment like RxJ, comment section wide open here as well. But anyway, the dock workers finally agreed to a contract so they don't ruin Christmas. God help us if we can't go out and buy gifts for our kids and our loved ones. This should have never even came down to this. Okay? How about the companies that are handling these docks? Why can't they pay these workers what they're asking for? On the other hand, why can't this union with this guy who wants to shut the country down and go on strike, why can't two people sit together and talk? Why? Because this country doesn't care to do that. Okay? They would rather get on TV, degrade people, scream and holler, get mad, and call people names. I'm going to give you a prime example today. I was parking my van in my handicap spot here in my building. And I had some woman who lives in the building decide she's going to park her car there, and she doesn't have a handicap placard or plate. I wind my window down in my van, and again, here we are. I said very nicely, ma'am, hello, can you please not park your car here? You do not have a handicap placard or a license plate. You know what she told me to do? Go F myself. Or go MF myself. Okay? Nobody can talk anymore in this country to one another. You got unions who don't want to agree to anything with companies, and companies who are sitting there, they don't want to pay people. So everybody that's smack dab in the middle, they're going to take this to arbitration, and arbitration's going to have a mediator that's going to say, well, you know, you can't do this, and the company, you can't do that, and you know, the common thread for a progressive Democrat is we can't do that. Okay? I hear that from management in my building all the time. All right? This right here, what I just told you, is a prime example of why in this country is the way it is. Because we can't work together. All right? They came up with a preliminary agreement, but what are you going to do in January? And once again, this administration dropped the ball on this supply chain thing. Why wasn't that ship in Baltimore unloaded the next day? Why wasn't another ship brought in to take care of this? No, we're going to back everything up again, just like we did for COVID. All right? Both sides are to blame for this because, as I've always said before, it takes two to tango. And to me, it's unacceptable. But is it unacceptable to you? That's the question. When you can't get certain things, when you can't get computers, well, so you can't get your Xbox, or you can't get your Apple computer that you camp out in a tent for a week to go get, okay, or whatever it is you do with these Apple stores. All right, camp out in a tent for an Apple computer. I don't need an Apple computer. Don't want one. Okay? But that's the difference between you and between me. All right? I have tried to talk to people. I have tried to sit down and work out things with people. It can't be done anymore. Because it's either the F-bomb or the MF bomb. Okay? That's why nothing can be worked out between unions and companies in this country anymore. And I'm not sticking up for the company. They're wrong too for not paying these people. And I get workers want the wages that they want to be able to live on. Okay? All right? Comment section's open here. RXJ says, shame on her. Handicap should only be in a handicapped people. I have nothing but respect for the handicapped. My mom is one. Shame on her for being rude. Absolutely. And fortunately for me, the manager was there because she threatened my wife. And I told her, and my wife told her, you're going to be out of this building if you even think of putting your hands on my wife. And I told her, you're lucky I'm handicapped because no one's going to talk to my wife like that. I was sitting in my van waiting for my wife to bring me my scooter so I could get in it. Okay? Excuse me. All right? It is disgraceful, RxJ. Nobody respects handicapped troops, teachers. It's a shame. It's all across the board. They don't respect anybody. Nobody has any respect for themselves. And it's a majority of this country. It's not just everybody. There are nice, good people out there, but 80% of this country has no respect for nothing, nobody, or anything. And don't sit there and tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not. You know I'm right. I only speak the truth on this program, and that's it. But when you do things like this, that is what I get angry about. I'll give you another example. About 2 years ago, my wife and I was in February. We went to a Golden Corral to go eat. Once again, somebody was parked in a handicap spot at a Golden Corral with no placard. Parked right next to my vehicle to where my wife couldn't get in the door. So I had to back the vehicle out, get my wife to get into the vehicle. So the people finally come out. It was an elderly lady, and I get it. And it was a younger girl. My wife said, you can't park. I called the cops twice. No response, never even showed up. Okay? This is where we are with this now. Okay? You know what this lady said? It's Black History Month. You shouldn't worry about whether I park here or not. That has nothing to do with anything involving you not having the right credentials to park in a handicap spot. And there's another example of what I'm trying to say here. We can't work together in this country for anything. And if the supply chain shuts down, I'm blaming this administration for this, because you should have fixed this when the Baltimore thing happened. And you knew that the workers' contracts were coming up. You should have got together with this company and say, hey, we got to fix this. And you did nothing. And then when Joe Biden was asked, well, what are you going to do about it? He said, well, it's a collective bargaining problem. I'm not going to do anything. Yeah, exactly. Nothing, which is what you've done anyway. You did nothing to fix the economy. You gave Ukraine too much money. And you stunk at the debate. The first debate you had, to where they had to oust you out in the Democratic Party. And you're going to be another George W. Bush, where no one's going to want to talk to you or want you to be a part of any of the Democratic events, because you're an embarrassment. Swamp's opinion on this doc thing. And I hope a contract really gets worked out. And whoever's the new president, in order to really get elected, Donald Trump should step in and say, hey, we can't do this. This is going to cripple our country. All right? That's what Donald Trump should do if he really wants to win this election. All right. Hurricane relief, Helene. Sad. The federal government should be ashamed of themselves. What? Oh, now all of a sudden Joe Biden found some money, and now they're going down again. Great. I'm glad to hear this, that you're going down there to help these folks. And Milton's coming now. But when the hurricane first hit, where were you? Oh, we got to find money for this. Why? Because we give money to Ukraine. Stick your hand out. You think President Biden's going to give you money? No. You think Kamala Harris is going to give you money? No. You think Donald Trump's going to give you money? I don't know. Maybe he might. No. And then if I was to get money from the president, everybody should get money from the president. Which means if I line up at the White House and I want money and I want to put my hand out, I'm not going to get it. You're not going to get it. None of us are going to get it. But Vladimir Stavinsky, or whatever the hell his name is going to get it. Hurricane Milton is hitting now. Now we got 1,800, National Guard troops. We have FEMA finally stepping up. We have a national emergency, whatever. Red Cross volunteers from all over the place all of a sudden had to immobilize. I would go down with the Red Cross and do things. I can't do it because of my handicap. Okay? I would love to do that, but I can't. Okay? It's that simple. All right? Our government right now, with this thing with these hurricanes, y'all be ashamed of yourself. First, FEMA says, well, we don't have disaster money. Well, then all of a sudden, Biden has an address to the country, or he's going to tonight, to say, oh, I found money. Oh. Yeah, you know why? It's an election. You know why the gas prices are going down? It's an election. You know why they're doing stuff for this? It's an election. If it wasn't an election year, this government already got egg on their face. Guess what? They would do absolutely what they do in this country anyway. Nothing. And that is Ralph's opinion. We come back, more of Ralph's opinion right after these words.
For a wedding anniversary, funeral, or for your sweetheart, call Alex's Flowers today. 412-661-6071. Alex's Flowers is a full-service florist specializing in a variety of flowers, plants, balloons, fruit, munch, gourmet, and plush. 30 years in the flower business, Alex has the right flowers for you. Also online at alexsflowers.com. I'm here today to tell you about some great pizza. This great pizza is at the original Hometown Pizza in Moon Township, right on University Boulevard. Call them at 412-264-4444. Again, that number is 412-264-4444. Eat in, take out, and delivery. Look forward to you calling them. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you, and you get a discount on your order. The original Hometown Pizza.
Ralph Williams here to talk to you today about Candlewood Suites in Erie. Candlewood Suites in Erie is a hotel you do not want to go to. I experienced an issue where I needed my sheets changed, and my wife went up to complain and say something. She raised her voice a little bit. They kicked us out. If you don't want to go through any of this stuff, the hotel is a dump. The general manager has bad customer service experience. So please do yourself a favor and do not stay at the Candlewood Suites in Erie, because if you do, you will regret it. So do not stay there, please. And please spread the word to anyone you know that's going to Erie to tell them not to stay at this Candlewood Suites hotel. It's a disgrace what goes on there. They disrespected me as a handicapped person, and they disrespected my mother as a senior citizen. So please do not go there. Thank you. All right, we're back here at the Ralph's Opinion Show. Coming up right after this is Ralph's Opinion Local. That comes up at 8 o'clock. And then at 9 p.m., I will be on with the kneecap biting, the Detroit Lions with Jeremy Ballrick. Every Wednesday night at 9, I'm on. We talk about football and the NFL, and we do our picks. It's a roundtable discussion, and there's a bunch of us on there as well for that show. So tune into that. That'll be on YouTube and Facebook. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You ought to call Mata as our studio sponsor, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. So anyway, I want to get back to, we're going to talk a little bit about today, Gaza. Hospitals in Gaza are evacuating. Why? They're expecting more bombings coming from Israel. And I'm getting sick and tired of people out here, not only in this town, but across the country, going after people because they are Jewish or they favor Israel. The people who are doing this are people who are criminals in this country. They don't like the idea that the Lord's country, Israel, is going after Gaza and are going after Hezbollah, going after the Houthis, going after all these other people. Beirut, Lebanon, they're upset because these folks are in their country, and their country has always been a harbor for terrorism. Always. Beirut and Lebanon has always done whatever they can to house terrorism. Okay? Watch the movie The Delta Force. That's based basically on a true story. That incident did happen. And tell me about Beirut. We had Marine barracks that was bombed and killed. Marines that were killed in Beirut. Okay? So what I'm saying to you is this. For everyone to sit here and deny Israel and say, oh, well, you know something, Israel's this, Israel's that. Look, you people and the Hezbollah people are the one, and whatever, they are the ones who started this, not Israel. Israel's a peaceful country, but when you piss them off and they make them get angry, they get angry. And now the United States is sending 40,000 troops over to help Israel with this situation. We may even have troops in Beirut. I don't know. I don't care. I just want us to help Israel as much as we can. All right. So at least our troops are involved in some capacity here. Israel's always helped our country. We should help them a little more. We've sent them Patriot batteries over there to intercept missiles and things like that. But this war needs to stop because it's causing problems in this country. It's causing racism. It's causing, which of course we have racism to begin with, but it's causing racism. It's causing hate crimes to go up because of this war. You got people that live here that are part of Palestinian, and they're frustrated with Jewish Israeli people and they're upset for anyone. We even have politicians that don't even like Israel, that are mad at Israel because they're going after, and that's these progressive Democrats whose names I'm not going to mention at this point. I think you have a pretty good idea who they are. All right. One of these shows, I will mention the names of those who, one of them is John Fetterman, who's a congressperson who's a congressman here in state of Pennsylvania. Okay. He's made statements. Summer Lee, who lives around here or whatever and represents our area. Another progressive Democrat that's made derogatory comments about this war in Israel. One of our biggest allies that helps us out the most and helped us big time with the war on terror now needs our help, and we want to crap on him. Okay, now all of a sudden, an election time's coming up, and here's Joe Biden with Kamala Harris trying to do something now. Too late. This war's been going on for over a year now, and this is finally you stepped up and decided to start doing something. After all the money you gave to Ukraine. And you're still giving them more money. All right? Donald Trump's going to end that war in 24 hours, Ukraine and Russia. He'll probably end the Israel war too. He's very good at negotiating and sitting down with these people. All right? And he'll tell North Korea to eat it. And he'll tell Iran to eat it. Okay? And he'll tell China to eat it. All right? All right, next. Social Security COLA raise. Now, those of you who don't know what a COLA raise is, that's not on Social Security. It's called a cost of living assessment, which means you get a cost of living raise every single year because Barack Obama has that down for 20 years. Okay? A big problem of America is nobody respects handicaps, troops, teachers. That's a shame. All right, I already put that up. We need term limits and new leadership. Absolutely. Congressmen, state senators, all them people. They can run for all these terms. You got Mitch McConnell who can barely talk. You got Chuck Schumer who's been in it forever. You got Bernie Sanders who's been around forever in 6 years, who still can't comb his hair right and he looks like a clown when he talks. Okay? All right? He was disgraced in the Democratic Party to where he went to become an independent. Okay? So, Social Security, we get a COLA raise. I have Social Security. I am on disability. And we have we get a COLA raise every year. Anyone that's on Social Security gets a COLA raise. This year, it's not going to be that great because they claim, and I quote, that inflation is low this year. That inflation's not real high, and it's not as high as it was last year. And last year we didn't get that good of a raise, but the year before that we got a huge raise. Okay, I'm trying to get this law changed to where states cannot, welfare systems cannot take away your food stamps or any of your benefits because you make more money, or if you live in a subsidized housing apartment like I do, and they can't raise your rent because the government is giving you money. If the government's giving you money, they should not be permitted to do this. And this is a crime too. And I suggest that those of you who are on Social Security and everything else need to go burn up Bob Casey's ear. If you live in Pennsylvania or any other state, burn up your congressman's ear and say, hey, listen, we need to change these laws because it's unacceptable to me. And it should be unacceptable to you too. But it's not. It's because you won't do anything. If you do, good for you. And I want to know if you did. If you're not doing anything about it, then so much for that, right? I tried. Okay. Florida school employee is filing a lawsuit because her son in the Broward County School District, because her son is transgender, and they won't let that person, that whatever man or woman or whatever it is now, play sports. Now she's filing a lawsuit. Okay. Now she's filing a lawsuit against the Broward County School District. Now, there's a fine line with this. Okay. And you got the progressives out here, like the Kamala Harrises of the world. Oh, I guess it's okay for transgender kids to play in sports. No, you're going up against our freedoms because now what do you when things like this go on? What do you think they do? They drag the Constitution into this. This right here is a prime example of it. School district has a policy that says that if you're a transgender student, you cannot play sports. Okay? And that's their right to do that. But you don't want to follow the rules, so now you want to file a lawsuit saying that, oh, my kid can't play sports because it's transgender. Well, didn't you look at the rules of the Broward County School District that says, no, we don't, we have a policy that states, no, you can't do that? Probably not. I don't think transgender students should be permitted to play sports anyway. Because if you're a woman and you changed into a man and you're playing women's sports, we got a problem here. It was in the Olympics. These progressives let it happen. Okay? And it's sad. It really is. But again, you'll drag the Constitution into this. All right? It's Ralph's opinion tonight. I already talked about Biden addressing the nation. French fry supplier for McDonald's is laying off people because the French fry company that provides for McDonald's is losing money. Which means McDonald's is losing money. Fast food anymore is the bad guy. Okay? Is the bad guy. I don't eat at McDonald's anymore. I haven't eaten at McDonald's in a long time. My wife and I recently ate at some of the McDonald's. I don't know if it's around here or whatever, and got sick. So we don't eat at McDonald's anymore. And McDonald's is expensive now. You know, my physical therapist who works on my neck when I go for therapy, because I have a neck injury. I have a neck problem. I have a problem with my vertebrae and nerve and pinched nerves in my neck. Okay. He said real soon, if we don't do something about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and all them, we're going to be paying $8 for a Big Mac. And he's right. McDonald's losing money because this French fry supplier says that they're lacking in business and they're closing down this plant. So now McDonald's, they're laying off a ton of workers because they claim they're not making that business is down. So if McDonald's is their number one customer, which I probably would think they are, then McDonald's is not making money either. It's logic. Think about it. TikTok lawsuit. We have a lawsuit out here right now for TikTok. TikTok is being sued because supposedly they are putting out stuff out and teenagers are part of it and everything else. My sister is, and even though she's in her 30s, she sits around and plays around on TikTok. Okay. Posting pictures, whatever. I don't know what she does these days anymore because I don't talk to my sister very often. Okay. All right. So anyway, here we are with this lawsuit against TikTok. And TikTok's going to say, well, TikTok's in trouble anyway because supposedly they're from China. And supposedly our progressive Democrats here want to shut TikTok down because they're from China. They think China is invading our territory and is, invading our privacy, hacking people, and doing all that stuff through TikTok, which could be a possibility because we have been unable to fight Russia. We've been able to fight China. We've been able to fight all these people who hack, get into all these systems all across the country and around the world. Verizon has been hacked. T-Mobile was down. AT&T's been down. Verizon's been down twice. Okay. What? Somebody hacked them? So TikTok now is being sued because supposedly there's material on there that's affecting children. Well, I blame the parents for this because why aren't the parents getting on the kids to stay off of TikTok? Get away from TikTok. So here we are suing TikTok because we don't want to parent. Think about it. You don't want to parent. So what are you going to do? You're going to blame TikTok and sue them. That's the words of the progressive Democrats, folks. Here we are. All right. It's Ralph's opinion tonight on this. We're going to keep the show here at 7 o'clock starting next week. We'll be here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Ralph's opinion. I'll have the new graphics set up for you shortly. Okay. Got a good response to tonight's show. Mailbag here. Ken from Texas says, Ralph, I'm glad you're on at night. I can watch, which is great. Thank you, Ken. We come back after these words. We're going to talk about a few more topics, and then we're going to wrap it up here, and I got a few announcements. So right after these words.
Are you handicapped and having trouble going to do your normal life activities? Well, I have the solution for you. A folding power wheelchair from Fold & Travel Mobility. They have the best models of folding power wheelchairs. Their goal is to provide best-in-class products that allow their customers to live a better and easier life. Call them at 1-877-GOT-FOLD or online at foldandtravelmobility.com. We look forward to you calling. Auto repair can be expensive, and sometimes shops rip you off. But I have a shop for you to fix your car the right way at the right price. Big Dog Auto in West Mifflin by the Allegheny County Airport. Oil change, state inspection, and more. Call today, 412-999-5555. 0191. For good car repair, call the Big Dog. Big Dog's Auto. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
All right, we're back here. Ralph's Opinion. And then coming up next, Ralph's Opinion Local at 8 o'clock. We got a lot to talk about today. I was going to play some inserts of the county council meeting. I still might be able to. I'm having some issues with power on the device I was going to use to play it. So we're going to find out. I might be able to get it on the air. Excerpts of the speech that Sarah Alvarado gave county council last night in regards to the budget for Allegheny County. We're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 724-201-0500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Okay, before we wrap up here, I have some announcements for you today. All right, coming November 9th, Saturday, November 9th, I'm going to shake up Pittsburgh in the talk radio scene, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Starting Saturday, November 9th, the Ralph Williams Show, 1250 a.m., 92.5, The Answer. And also don't forget about Saturdays as well, 2 to 3 p.m. every Saturday, 1250 a.m., 92.5, the FM, The Answer. Sports Corner radio show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. This week we talk about the Steeler game, Jets coach getting fired, Pitt football, and a whole lot more. And we have a new segment at the beginning of the broadcast where each of us is going to have like our own little rant, or it's going to be called like Luther's Logic and Claudio's commentary, Smoking Jim's Wisdom, and Ralph's Rant. We're going to do that. And that is every Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., 92.5 The Answer, 1250 a.m. as well on the AM dial. The Sports Corner radio show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. Also, don't forget about the External Bum Show every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. External Bum Show with me, Ralph Williams, Scott Morgan, Ralph Leo Haggerty, Jeremy Ballrick. I'm not sure if Leo will be available. He's still traveling, doing some things, and he had to get out of Tampa because of the storms. So I'm not exactly sure if he's going to be on, but if he is, he'll be a part of the panel here with me, Scott Morgan, Roth, Leo Haggerty, Jeremy Ballrick as well. Don't forget every Saturday morning on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch platforms. All right. In closing tonight, I want to say this. You're going to go out to vote November 5th. In Pennsylvania here, at least it's November 5th. Some states have already voted. And some other states are getting ready to vote. Others vote at different times and things like that. It's a very important election this time around because it's the presidential election. That's always the most important. I no longer work in voting. I was a judge of elections here at one time for one of the polling places, but I no longer do it because I don't have the time. All right. It's a big time commitment of a lot of hours that I don't have the time for. All right. So I don't do it anymore, but I did at one time and I enjoyed it. It was a fun thing. All right. So if you can help out with voting and you can go and vote, then do so and do whatever you have to vote for your candidate because it's important. This is a presidential election. All right. Whoever you vote for. Okay. All right. I'm Ralph Williams. It's been Ralph's Opinion. See you next week. New time now, 7 p.m. See you next week right here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Until next time, have yourself a great one. Thank you.